Hi lollies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you'll be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of ours. You guys are the real MVP. So lovely. I came across this video on my For You and I thought to share where, Black Americans or Black South Africans have a serious message to Afrikaners and every other person who is very interested to listen. Like they also have message to Americans. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Alright, lovely.
If you want to know about white Afrikaners, South Africans, ask people from Australia who have experienced them at a core. When Mandela became president, it became a trend for a lot of white Afrikaners to relocate to Australia. I'm going to Australia. This land is going to the pits. The blacks are running it. I'm going to Australia. Once they go to a land where they're in majority as white people, they feel like they're at a space where they can openly be racist. I have a few Australian friends who are always at a disbelief with their encounter with Afrikaner South Africans, white South Africans. So I personally feel like they're going to the right country. The USA is the right country for them. Their president is openly racist. He is a convicted sex offender, yet in majority, people chose him to be president because they did not want to be led by a black woman. Politics aside, this is a country that is actively funding a genocide. They are responsible for the unaliving of the children in Gaza. And at the same breath, they say they're worried about white Afrikaners. In the same breath, they say Ibrahim Traore is a threat to his people, but they are actively funding a genocide. I think the USA is a great place for white supremacy and for people to openly be racist. There is a woman last week or 2 weeks ago who called a kid in the park the N-word, and she created a GoFundMe, and white supremacists have donated to her. It's almost at $1 million. The USA is a perfect country. If you're black and brown and you're in the USA, my dear, save money and relocate.
This one's going to be a little controversial, but I want to speak to the white South Afrikaners. Listen, I'm an Ethiopian whose family migrated to America when I was 5. I assimilated with the culture that you call American. I look like an African American, and I'm a proud black man, and nothing's ever going to change that. But here's my reality. My reality is my culture is rooted in Ethiopia. My language is rooted in Ethiopia. My family came from Ethiopia as immigrants. I am a child of immigrants. So you will never see me walking around America claiming rights to the land, any land in America. I cannot walk around and say I have a proud American culture. Yes, I grew up here. Yes, I grew up with the Americans. Yes, I assimilated well. And I respect its people, and I respect their culture. I respect their language, their history, their rules, their people. But I do not have any rights to the land because I'm not indigenous to American land. You get me? You following? That applies to you as well. Your ancestors came on boats to Africa from Scandinavia, the Scottish British Isles, from Europe. That's where they came from. That's where their culture comes from. That's where their language is rooted. That's where their identity is rooted. You are the children of those immigrants that migrated to to Africa. You don't have rights to the land of Africa. My children were born here in America, but they don't have rights to the land of America because they are children of immigrants. They are not indigenous. So they're not going to grow up and tell people, I'm an American, I have rights to this land. No, son. You are the child of an immigrant. If anything, you have rights to where I came from, not here. So the next time I see a white South Africaner saying we need to preserve our culture, listen to me. It's not your culture. It never has been your culture. You assimilated to the culture. You adopted the culture. You learned the language. You grew up amongst the people. You pillaged, raped, and stole the lands. You inducted them into slavery, and you still continue to confine them into just poor areas where they have no access to nothing. You still continue to suppress them, is what I'm trying to say. You are not indigenous to Africa. Your identity is not African. Your identity is European. So please have some respect for Africa, have some respect for yourself, and start claiming what you truly come from and not something or some place that you assimilated to. Stop doing that. You're not African. You have no African culture. You assimilated to the African culture. So I don't want to see you guys on here talking about I'm African. No, you're not. If you're mixed, that's a different story. You have half African, half European. And even that's, your rights to the land is still debatable. You're on the fence. But you don't have indigenous rights to any part of Africa, ever. And the idea of growing this population needs to die. Africa does not need more Europeans coming to colonize us, to take our culture, to take our land, and to subdue our people into slavery. We don't need that. We don't need any more Europeans in Africa. I'm going to say it because nobody else is saying it. We don't need more Europeans in Africa. We need less. In fact, it would be nice if you could pack your bags and go back to Europe. There's plenty of prime land in Europe, coastal land, fertile land that is unpopulated, waiting for the taking, cheap to buy. What the fuck are you doing in Africa? What are you doing? My brain's fried. What are you doing? You don't think we see you? We see you all. You know what I'm saying? You're not invisible. Okay? Please don't come on here talking about I'm African. You're not. You're not. And it's disrespectful that you keep claiming to be African or have some kind of African culture. That is not your culture, and it never will be your culture. Stop it. Stop it now.
I'm just hanging out today and I'm thinking about these refugees. And I'm thinking about Trump saying how Mexico was not sending their best. They weren't sending their best. We sent a car salesman apparently from Capital Park. And I don't know if you're from Pretoria, I don't know what farming was happening in Capital Park. None of those people look like farmers. And as South Africans, we know our farmers are not there. But yeah, have you guys noticed also how racism has increased even in South Africa since Trump has taken over? So I think they went over there so that they can enjoy that, because I think that's their favorite thing. And yeah, so let's see how that plays out. And I honestly wish that we could have sent them to Gaza for a week first. But yeah, let's see how they...
Did you guys see this? The South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, he gave his thoughts on the 49 Afrikaners that came to the U.S. Listen.
It's a group of South Africans who are demonstrating that the changes and transformation that we are embarking upon here, they are not favorably disposed to it, and that's why they are running away. So as South Africans, we are resilient. We don't run away from our problems, and we shouldn't run away from our problems. And if you look at all national groups in our country, black and white, we've stayed in this country because it's our country and we must not run away from our problems. We must stay here and solve our problems. So when you run away, you're a coward. And that's a real cowardly act. And I expect every South African to stay here and we work together and we solve our problems. We've got the most beautiful country in the world. And I can bet you they will be back soon because there's no country like South Africa. Yeah. Thank you.
What do you guys think about this? He said that they did not embrace change. Instead, they were running away. He called them cowards, and he even bet that they will return. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below.
In the wake of the United States accepting Dutch refugees from South Africa, I figured now would be a lovely time to do a very SparkNotes history on the nation of South Africa. She's right there. Technically, the first Europeans that went to South Africa were Portuguese. So when people from Europe, Portugal, England, would, want to go over here and pimp out spices from India and stuff, they used to have to go around the entire continent of Africa because the Suez Canal wasn't constructed yet. So on their journey, they were like, let's stop here for refreshments. So technically, the first Europeans that peeped South Africa was Portugal, but they never set up shop or anything. That was going to be the Dutch, so folks from Holland. But hang on, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So the Portuguese, that was the late 1400s where they were scoping the scenery, but nobody set up shit. They just kind of stopped there for a sec and then carried on to go to different parts of Asia, Then in the mid 1600s, the Dutch come. They do, in fact, create settlements, and they have a system of chattel slavery. However, the people that they enslaved were largely Asian, so typically from India and what is now present-day Pakistan. Then, late 17s, early 18s, the British find their ass in South Africa too. At this point, the Dutch are calling themselves Afrikaners, or as I like to call them, Afrikansmen. And they start moving more inland, the Dutch, moving more inland, because they're like, fuck, British, this is our shit. So, the Dutch start moving more inland, and the Dutch farmers are called Boers, B-O-E-R-S. There ends up being 2 wars between England and Holland. So the Boers and the British have wars within South Africa because they're like, no, this is our shit to colonize. No, this is ours to colonize. Meanwhile, the native people of South Africa are like, what the fuck? So in the 1860s, they realize, hang on, there's a fuck ton of gold here. And also a ton of diamonds. And the very first Boer War was in 1880, from 1880 to 1881. Then the Boers have their own little settlements, and somewhere between in the 1880s and the 1890s, they discover the biggest gold field in the world, and it is discovered on Boer land. It's not their fucking land, but they had this little strip of settlement, and it was a fuck ton of gold. So then folks start flocking to that area. British people also. And the British, they had to pay taxes and everything, but they weren't allowed to vote. The only motherfuckers that were voting were the Boers, were the Dutch. And the Boers preferred it that way because that meant that they could be dominant if they were the only ones who had the ability to vote. The second, BTW, the first Boer War was won by the Dutch. The Boers won. The second Boer-British War, England said, oh, word, and they squabbled up all of their, they forced people from other British colonies, so Ireland and Australia and all over the place, made them come and fight on their behalf in South Africa. So the second Boer War was pretty gnarly, and the British put the women and children, Boer women and children, into concentration camp. Over 25,000 of them died of hunger and disease, and the British end up winning that war. Not quote unquote winning, but what the really fuck are we doing? So Second Boer War was at the end of the 1800s, and then at the very, very beginning of the 19s. Ended in 1901. That was the end of the Second Boer War. And at that point, once the British had defeated them, then the Brits in 1910-ish were like, amazing. A united South Africa controlled by the British. So all the Boer land and everything that was supposed to be belonging to the native people, the British are in control of this shit. I'm gonna go ahead and stop right here. Anybody that's gonna be like, Kate, you forgot to talk about Shaka Zulu, you forgot to talk about this, this, and this. My loved one, I'm trying to explain hundreds of years of history in about 10 minutes. Give me a fucking bear with. So 1910, England says, this is our shit. And within, let's see, 1934 was when South Africa became an independent nation. However, shit's not sweet. So this entire time, from like 1400s to 1900s, with the presence of the Dutch and the presence of the British, land is straight stolen from the native people. The native people of the land are not represented in government. They are not paid adequately. Enslaved people are brought from India. So, very fucking unequal, obviously. Swiftly after South Africa gained independence, they implemented an apartheid system. Apartheid, like the word, literally means to be apart, to exist apart, separate, segregation, okay? They have 4 racial categories in this system. White, black, it's called something else, but essentially multiracial, and Asian. So that was largely people from India, of Indian descent. So the folks of Indian descent, multi-ethnic people, black, white. That's it. And guess who had all the privilege? White. And they were max 20% of the entire population at their height. Like when there was the most, they were maybe 20% of the pop. Let me get my spaghetti. So 1948, the system of apartheid is put into place. In the 1950s, the African National Congress, which is a party, the ANC, which is the party that Nelson Mandela was a part of, they began doing peaceful protests, protesting against, obviously, the fucking apartheid regime. It's always met insanely violently. They try and do peaceful resistance, insane violence. For example, in 1960 was an event that is called the Sharpeville Massacre. At the least, there were 70 people killed by the police and over 170 people were injured. What they were protesting specifically was something called passbooks. This is why I love history, because it's like, oh my God, passbooks, no funny shit. It's the same fucking thing as what they're doing right now in the West Bank. A passbook is essentially a passport. Did the white people fucking need one? Nope. That these folks had to carry around to travel internally within their own bumclot country that said like, hello, my name is so-and-so, here's who I work for, here's where I work, they gave me permission to leave. So they were peacefully protesting these little fucking passports that they had to have to travel within their own country, okay? That was met by the police slaughtering 70 people at least and injuring damn near 200 people. At that point, the ANC decided, you know what? This peaceful shit isn't it. We need to, because clearly, every time we try peaceful shit, they come back at us like this. So it's time to develop a paramilitary group, a paramilitary branch of the ANC, which is called Mkonto Wesizwe. Wait, Mkonto Wesizwe. It's called the MK for short, but let me at least try. It's called the MK for short, which is the paramilitary group, which, if I'm not mistaken, it was started by Mandela, who then was given life in prison because the fucking South African government was tipped off by who? I'll give you one guess. The CIA, correct. And Nelson Mandela was arrested in 1962, given a life sentence, and was put on the terrorist watch list in these here United States. What president you think put him on there? Ronald Reagan, you're absolutely right. Then there's another thing called the Soweto Uprising. Same thing. The students are protesting the fact that why the fuck is all of our curriculum in English and in Afrikaans, bitch? Again, another at least 200 people murdered by the police. Basically what I'm saying is this. The first time that South Africa had an election where every single one of the citizens could vote, where black people and biracial and multiracial people could vote was 2 years before I was fucking born. So these Afro-Klansmen that are coming to the United States now, they are leaving one thing. They are upset about one thing, and it's the fact that they don't benefit from blatant and systemic fucking racism anymore, and that shit hurts their feelings. Nelson Mandela was the first. He won that election. Okay.
Yeah, seriously, lovely. This is the reason why anytime I see some of these stitches that some South African people are actually facing Gen OC, I just smile. I was like, Gen OC, do you know what it means for people to face Gen OC? I think maybe they should actually ask the Palestinian people, the Congolese people, the Sudan people, like they are the people that is actually facing what they call a genuine, a real Gen OC. And these people probably are the real genuine people who is in need of help. But no, those people are being taken to Iraq or most of the country that is still a WAR zone, because you know what, they are not VIPs. They are not pink colored, like they are not important. So oh okay, just take them to Iraq or take them to any of these countries that is still suffering. Just take them there. Like we are just tired of these power people. I'm not even gonna talk about Congo, the same country that probably have all of the God-given natural resources that's been used to produce most of the things, most of the expensive things, gadgets that every other developing economy uses. But the place where you know these natural resources are being gotten, the people there are being treated like animals. They do child labor. Like there are so many things going on which I cannot even bring up myself to. But no, those are not important citizens. Those are, oh my god, they're going to fend for themselves. They're going to, like, oh, one way or the other, after all, they are colored people, they are going to succeed. But just because some group of South Africans uh like they couldn't use their privilege, their privilege is no more sustainable, they decided to create a narrative of some Gen OC happening to white Afrikaners. And even if Gen OC is happening to white Afrikaners, so this Gen OC are only focused on the 59 Afrikaners, right? What happens to the other pen-colored Afrikaners people? Like, and to worsen all of the situation that makes you know that this is a high level of propaganda is Grok. Grok is an AI generated whatsoever that is owned by Elon Musk, which he has, it's the AI has come out thousands and numbers of times and talk about how, oh, I've been programmed to keep on being this narrative of there is a Gen OC happening in South Africa that is focused on only white South Africans. Like they keep on pushing this narrative to make people believe, that there is something like that going on without any maybe proof. At least we all have seen that of PAL, we all have seen that of Sudan, that of Congo. Even if they try as much as they can to cut some you know to cut so many things in Congo in order for us. So their media is not something that is so strong. Imagine Congo does not even have a strong media to keep on, putting out what is really going on there. It's just that you need to really search and search and search before you see that, oh, Congolese people are really in need of help. These people just keep on pushing this narrative of some white Afrikaners Gen OC. But meanwhile, the same faith that these people who probably maybe was attacked by some group of gang in the bush, which other black people also faces. So it is okay when it is faced by people that looks like me, but when it's other people, oh my god, you know, they are special. They are very, very so special. Like, where will all of this just come to an end? You know, these people are just upset because their privilege has run out of hand, and they are just looking for ways to make to go to migrate to a place that they felt that their privilege is going to just, help clear everything, but they are not aware. Anyway, lovely, so now just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please, Lord, please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So if you've not subscribed to this channel, do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.